I would post something.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Well, I mean, you are now embedded in pop culture, which is kind of a fun thing kind of a fun thing.
I was like, maybe, throw me a bone somewhere else. Did the bone come flying my way? Nope. This is the closest to a Beverly Hills reunion I'll ever do.
Really?
Hello? I'm 15. Hello? He goes, hi, this is Barbara Walters. He's like, no, I'll call her back. And then one day, my grandfather's like, I want to own a race car team. Like, all of a sudden, we had a race car team.
I remember rumors, whether they were true or not. Todd Kraines has a tanning salon in his house. And I'm like, wait, what?
Do you have a tanning salon in your house?
Well, there's a reason why. So they were...
I love it.
How old are you dating?
Let's get into that.
Welcome to another episode of 90who10. I'm Jessica Entner. I am sitting here with
Dan Eisenstein.
And we have a spectacular guest with us today. Some of you might know him from his amazing name on a lipstick by Kylie. It is Todd Kraines.
Thank you.
I know. I was going to give you a much longer one. You were Lynn Zeltzer's boyfriend in fifth grade. Him and I graduated from high school together. You live down the street. He's
Todd,
everyone's neighbor.
Listen,
Todd Kraines.
He is the mayor of Beverly Hills.
He's the mayor. Let's go big. But
arguably.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
People argue with me on that one.
No, I think he is the mayor of Beverly Hills.
Are you getting a percentage of the lipstick sales?
No.
What the fuck?
And fuck them.
I mean, come on.
I know, that doesn't seem right.
That doesn't. If you took your likeness.
It's really funny that you mentioned that, because I was on a hike this morning with one of my buddies, and we were talking about this, and we were talking about loyalty, and I'm just going to get right into it, because it kind of like pissed me off a little bit.
I like it.
So I get a call from the momager, and she's like, so this is kind of coming out. And I'm like, oh, great. Like, when? Tomorrow. I'm like, oh, well, thank you very much for the heads up. And I'm like thinking, are you going to break me off a little something? Something?
What's your name?
And no. So honestly, at that time, I was like, I'm okay with that. We're family friends, like whatever. I was like, maybe, throw me a bone somewhere else. Did the bone come flying my way? Nope.
So it was a really good moment in time.
It was a good moment in time. And honestly, I looked at it as like name for me, for brand wise, for like real estate and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I'll leverage it that way.
Yep.
Now, could I have sued her? Bet your ass.
Would have been a great storyline.
Would have.
But I don't do that.
It takes too much effort mentally.
I would never do that.
I mean, when that whole storyline...
Well, never say never, but I would never... I mean, that's
not you. But
no, it's not me.
When that whole storyline came up, I was like blown away. I mean, I've known you for years and years. I mean, we went to elementary school together. And I had no idea that there was any connection, but it's not shocking. I mean, it's Beverly Hills. People know each other. But when that kind of storyline came up, and what was it? Scott Disick was calling and pretending to be you. I was like, that blew me away.
It's like one inside joke that went external.
It's awesome.
Behind the scenes, that whole thing, like, I was getting calls from Kris, like, are you here? Are you there? I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
That's awesome.
But it was actually kind of scary.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's pretending to be me? Like,
meanwhile, it's all being shot by E.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. And 6 months later, I get a call from the girls, and I just knew. I'm like, or a prank that went on for 7 years, and I shit you not, it's calmed down now. But I would get "It's Me, Todd Kraines" every.
They have to have T-shirts.
For years.
They should make T-shirts that pitch
on
in.
my Instagram. I would post something. Yeah. It's me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Well, but listen,
you obviously have a great sense of humor, but
I went with it.
That's pretty funny.
So
it is pretty funny.
I hope that you were able to leverage it though, even if not monetarily. I mean, I know you, and look, everybody knows you, but it's got to be a great. Look, you said you were just on a date. I mean, what a great. Segue. It's me, Todd Kraines.
I don't know if I don't know. I'm not bringing that shit up. I'm not I don't need to do that. You know what I mean?
Here, would you like a lipstick?
No. By the way, I have my little stash. So
for sure. I hope you're getting at least a little little
maybe
case.
After you come over. Yeah. It's a little prize.
Right. I like it. I love it.
Like a gumball machine.
Here you go.
I love it.
After our night together.
Oh my God.
I love it. I
like when you
love
go to
it.
the dentist. Pick a
love
toy.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I only have one color. It's nude.
I love it. That's awesome.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I love you. I
shit.
love that you just went right in. You're like, yeah, let's just go.
You went right
Well,
into it.
I just was just like, it is a
It
funny
is
thing
what
that
it
happened.
is.
It's pop culture. I mean, you are now embedded in pop culture, which is kind of a fun thing to be.
I mean, yes, if you're sitting in that chair, but
Right.
for me, it was a little nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Were you mad?
No, because I went with it. Like
Yeah.
I go with the flow. Like I'm not. What am I gonna be? What am I mad at? Like
Right.
okay, like I wish it's not my personality.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Let's
That's
ride the bull
awesome.
by the
I
horns.
love
Let's
it.
go. Let's
I
go.
love it.
So
What a fun ride.
it was
Oh my gosh.
it's like it's.
I would have totally made a billboard out of it. I would have just put like my mug up
It's
on
me,
Sunset.
Todd Kraines.
By the way, these thoughts were going through my mind as this was like flying, and like I was gonna have like, you know that movie, I Love You Man. So like I was gonna have like Kris on one billboard saying, you know, something, and then me over here, like it's just stupid shit that was going through.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if you know this. So I was at Coachella 2018, and I was with a girl from Indiana, and I was like, oh. This is my friend, Todd Kraines from Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is pretty funny.
Well, it's never like on the show. It was
No,
just
but
like,
you know,
I made a cameo.
anybody,
Yeah,
you were on the show.
yeah.
You were on
By
the
the way,
show.
I
Your
was
voice
so
was.
high for that cameo. I was so nervous. I was like, I'm gonna smoke the biggest bowl and I'm gonna go over. And it was a disaster. Like I should have been more like.
It always seems like a good idea, and it
it
never
was the
is.
worst.
It's the
I
never.
don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
But like then, I was like, oh my God, like what?
I mean, how long ago was that arc? Was that, what, 4 or 5 years ago?
No,
it was
it
like
was like-
7, 8 years
Wow.
ago.
It might have been.
Feels like it
10,
was
I don't know.
yesterday.
No, it's nuts
Yeah.
how time flies.
I know.
I think that literally was the only episode I ever watched. I was never, I was never into reality shows.
No, but
that's a lie.
But they
I like
kept
Shaw's
it
Offense.
going. Like kept it going, and they had me come in for a April Fool's thing, and like I did a Q&A. It was like I'm like fuck it, like let's
Why
go.
not? Yeah.
I'm like I called Kris. I was like, are you okay with like I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
are you cool with this?
Yeah.
Go for
So
it.
the relationship goes back a long, long time, right? I mean,
So my father and Robert
Mhm.
went to high school together.
Oh, wow.
So
like super family friends.
this is
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Family without being blood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like my cousins.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
grew up together. We went on so the whole Vail thing, like
Right.
we went on ski trips
Yep.
every Thanksgiving for 20 years.
And then when
Yeah.
she married Caitlin Bruce,
Yeah.
he was a big race car guy too, wasn't he?
Yes. Well, that's a good segue if you want
Yeah.
to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was into cars. And
Right.
Our family owned Indy cars.
Right. Craco.
Craco.
Right.
He was Bruce. He was an announcer on ABC. So he would do the interviews and would interview our race car drivers and Long Beach Grand Prix.
Mario
for
Andretti, right?
Michael.
Michael.
So Michael was our first. Well, I shouldn't say our first. Like we were his first ride.
Yep.
He was 21
Yep.
when we hired him. I think this was like early 80s.
And his Craco car won Indy, didn't it?
So no.
Oh,
So
okay.
he never won Indy with us.
Right. But you guys won Indy.
We
once.
won Indy in 92.
Okay. And who was
which-
driving?
Allender Jr. It was the closest finish in the history of the 500, and I think that still stands today.
That's awesome.
Oh wow.
And I was there, front row, and we didn't know who won. Like it was nuts. It was quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, it was like this much.
Yep.
Photo finish.
Yep.
Photo finish.
Yeah.
And so there was the relationship kind of with Bruce and
Yeah, I mean, he was always in the pit. Like it was, he was just around. So
Yep.
I don't know how Kris and him got together. That's a different story for them. But we all kind of knew each other.
Yep.
It's like 6 degrees.
Yep.
So yeah,
I feel
It's
like
like
there's
that.
a
He was-
couple families like that in LA, like the Fosters, the David Fosters, and
Yeah.
the Stewarts, and the Hamiltons, and
Yeah.
the Kardashians. Are all kind of Jenners are all related.
But I mean, listen, I've
Tomato
known you
marriage.
since
Yeah.
El Rodeo, and I know some of the families that your families are friends with. And I didn't even know that, the Kardashian Jenners were in that kind of mix.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've known those girls forever.
Yeah.
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 I don't speak to
Isn't
them.
that
too much.
funny though? When you've known somebody for so many years and then all of a sudden they explode on the scene like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is. It's what was really kind of, for me as an outsider, somebody who didn't know them, it's interesting, their dad had gotten all this publicity from the OJ case.
Yes.
And
I have a funny story with that.
let's hear it.
So during the whole trial, or right in the beginning, we were over at his house in Encino.
At Robert's house.
Yeah. And like, this is when all the chaos was going on.
Yeah.
Like, obviously my dad was there and all the kids were there. And we're all like, so like the phone's ringing off the hook. And I'm like, Robert's like, answer the phone. I'm like, I think I'm 15 years old.
Yep.
I'm like, hello? Like, I'm 15. Hello? He goes, hi, this is Barbara Walters. And she's like, gets into this. And like, we like Robert for an interview, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, hold please. I'm like, Robert, I got Barbara on the
That's
phone.
awesome.
I want to talk to her. He's like, no, I'll call her back. And I'm like, he'll call you back. Well, let me give you the number. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Did you know that I went to
such a trip? I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Did you know I went to the trial one day?
No.
Yeah. Judge Ito went to my wedding.
Wait, what?
Up.
Yeah. So, my ex-wife, her mother is a judge and was friendly with Judge Ito. I was super into the trial. Like I was watching it every single day.
Everybody.
So I ended up going the day that Mark Fuhrman testified the first time.
Oh, wow.
And there's actually a great clip on Court TV. After Fuhrman testifies the first time, he comes off the stand, and as he's exiting the courtroom, Judge Ito stops him to remind him that he can be recalled. And when he stops, it's like he stops right next to me. And there's a 2-shot of me and him. It's like very Forrest Gump.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I can picture that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Judge Ito came to my wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he family friends?
Well, he was good friends with Pam Small.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Far out. LA is such a strangely
I had Monica Lewinsky was a bridesmaid in my wedding.
Right.
So I've had a,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't talked.
In my wedding party, I had Monica Lewinsky and Bud Bundy. So, I mean.
That is the
That's
most
wild. Very diverse there.
Yeah. That's nuts. So you were born and bred, like Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And you went to school. I mean,
Went to Elredale,
we met.
went to Beverly.
Yeah.
Hated every minute of that. Actually, I take that back. My first 2 years at Beverly, I liked a lot.
But we hung
Then
out
shit got weird.
because you were on the golf team.
Yeah. So I loved all the older dudes.
Yeah.
Like I was, friends with you. I was friends with Jake Fetter. Like everybody, like, sorry, Jake, but
No, I love Jake.
he won't mind that I mentioned his
he
name,
won't.
but he like just homies with all these guys.
Yeah.
Tony Burns.
For people, listening in Iowa, Tony Burns, his dad was Mel Burns. He was the makeup artist on Charlie's Angels and just worked with a lot of really big celebrities and superstars. And Dean Stein, his dad, Norty Stein, and he was a music guy and wrote a bunch of great songs. And then Quincy Rose, his dad wrote Bananas and was a writer for The Tonight Show and a lot of great movies. And his uncle is Woody Allen's on the golf
most
team.
of them were on the golf team.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God. Like these guys I looked up to. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I remember because I was we were sophomores because you and I graduated the same year.
Yeah.
And they were seniors. And I remember because I was
so
strangely friends with all of the same dudes, like they were like my brothers too, weirdly. I remember being like one of the only other sophomores at your guest house parties where it was all seniors. And it was something out of like straight up out of Pretty in Pink.
But you had a great year. You had Scott Kahn in your year. You had Alan Lamont, The Alchemist.
Yeah.
My year was...
We had a weird year.
Yeah, we had a weird year.
We had a weird year.
I would ditch school because I just didn't want to be around. I would go to Hillcrest to play golf.
Yep.
My mom, Carter Pasinger would call my mom going, where the fuck is your son? Like, this was supposed to be a football practice. Little old me, like football practice.
I couldn't imagine you playing football.
And I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to Hillcrest and going to play 9.
Yeah.
So like, she's like, where are you? I go, I'm at Hillcrest. I was like, at least I'm not like downtown, like shooting up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
That's hilarious.
I think now that I'm older and I don't know if I was liked or not or like jealous. Like looking back, because I was like actually reminiscing on the way over.
But you were like one of the nicest kids ever.
I was, but like dude, my car got vandalized one time. Like people hated the Z got destroyed.
Oh man, I remember that thing.
And I was walking
awesome.
in parking lot B. I'm like, what motherfucker did this?
Somebody was jealous.
You were one of the first people I think was in my class, and you were like super dark hair, big green eyes, super cute, super cute. I think I had a crush on you for a minute until I realized I was a lot taller than you because it was 8th grade.
I like tall girls.
Was David your year?
Just ask Lynn. 5th grade, I'm like going for the tallest girl in class. I'm like 4 foot nothing. I'm like,
but he was really nice. And I remember you did invite me to your bar mitzvah. And being a new kid, first of all, I came in from LA. And even though I'm half Jewish, I hadn't been exposed to like the bar mitzvah culture of Beverly Hills. So my first year in 8th grade, I am now, luckily, I guess it seemed like I was accepted because I was invited, but like they invited everybody. So I was invited to a lot of bar mitzvahs.
If you grow up in Beverly Hills and you get to 7th grade, every weekend there's a bar or bat mitzvah to go to. So I just want to throw that out there. Yeah.
It's basically when you're 13, you're at the peak of your social life.
We had everything.
Yeah.
Like
they were like break dancers that came out.
God bless my dad. Like
you had a wedding.
I literally had a wedding at 13. I was like, you're out of your mind. Like, what are you doing?
Thankful you didn't get married.
And I'm like, I am the most expensive kid to this day. I mean, like, I think to myself, I'm like, I'm not married. I have no kids. I'm like, guys, I'm like your best investment.
Oh my God. That's actually true.
You're taking care of like all these kids, but you know, it's just me.
I love it. We loved you. You were like part of our crew. I mean, I wasn't on the golf team, but those were all my really good friends at school.
I was crushed when that happened. That's why I didn't go back to school. I'm like, oh my God, like these guys want to kill me.
Yeah, we all hung out.
This is the closest to a Beverly Hills reunion I'll ever do.
Really?
I'm not. Are you kidding me?
I'm going with you. We're going as dates, and we're just gonna fucking bomb through.
Have you never been to any of your?
By the way,
no, I haven't either.
Well, hold on a second.
Why?
So we graduated in '94. What's this? 30 years?
Howie asked me.
That shit.
No, you're coming if I drag you. You know why? Because it's almost funny now. It really almost is. Funny now.
I mean, you guys got your 30 years coming up this year.
There's no competition when it comes to me.
I love it.
But it's like, wow, actually, like, now I understand. I was like, you guys were jealous and insecure.
Right. And I think that's what you realize as you get older and wiser. There's certain aspects. And it's not that you might not see that at all as a child because it doesn't, because to you, you're just like, I just want to be friends with somebody. I want to connect with you. And now I feel awkward because of something that has nothing, to be honest, I'm not being an asshole, but it has nothing to do with you.
100%.
Nothing to do with you.
And I'm still learning that today.
Right. How you were raised and what you were, and this is like at the crux of this, how you were raised and what you were raised with. I think for a lot of us becoming adults, we realize that isn't necessarily ours. Our parents really did a lot of stuff, and it's very hard, especially nowadays, to be at that same level. But when you're a child and you're being either ostracized or bullied or put in a corner because you come from something that is so exorbitant, and you did come from a very, and I'm just putting this out there for the show purpose.
It's the truth.
You came from probably one of the most affluent families in Beverly Hills. And so when you're looking at that, and then there's people that are clicked up, and then it becomes pack mentality.
And the thing is,
easy prey.
We've talked about this before.
Totally. IndyCar team, this, that, the other, fucking living in this big mansion. I'm like, fuck this
and
kid.
There is a big disparity in Beverly Hills.
Yes,
there is.
There's north and there's south, baby.
That's it.
They
used to have the tracks that went down Santa Monica Boulevard, but it really is like across the tracks.
And those cool kids, ironically, were short, ugly little fuckers that were assholes. And that's what made them cool. And I don't know what it was. I think it was that peck mentality.
Well, it's still the same. I mean, the assholes are trying to be the cool kids. I mean, that's the same thing in school these days.
I started at Buckley.
Oh, even worse.
It was, But I don't remember too much about that. I'll tell you a great
too young. Buckley story. So my brother went to Buckley, okay? So he's in kindergarten there. He's 5 years old. Every day when he got on the school bus, if you were a boy, you had to bow, and if you were a girl, you had to curtsy. And you had to say to the bus driver, "Good morning, how are you?" Dad kept getting notes home that my brother would not say, "Good morning, how are you?" to the bus driver. And my dad says, "Mark, why will you not say, 'Good morning, how are you?' to the bus driver?" And my brother, who's 5, looks my dad square in the face and he says, "It's not a good morning because I have to go to school and I really don't care how she is."
You know what? There's something to be said for truth and honesty.
And off to El Rodeo. Off to public school.
So funny. Oh my God.
We would have to do that. Like, like greet the master.
Yep.
What the fuck? They're teaching us at this age.
Look, we were about 10 years out of people being like like knuckle slammed with rulers. Like my dad had that happen.
I got knuckle slammed at home. What are you talking about? They can't do that shit today. But like, I got my ass kicked when I was a kid.
We all did. We all did. It's way different now.
We all did. Yeah. My brother was British.
We came from the last generation to get smacked.
Totally.
Yeah.
But we all said freedom. So there you go.
That's true.
So what did you do? Because let's just go back a little bit, because I know Krakow has to do with cars, but I don't think being honest, I had no idea while I was in school who, what, where. Jake Fetter, who was a sweetheart, my son's name is Jake, so there you go. He came to pick me up on a date. I think we went on one date. Yeah. I think I probably scared the shit out of him. We went on one date. He picked me up in a Ferrari, and my dad is like, "What the fuck is happening?" And like the amount of you would pick me up, my dad grew up in LA, but he was still like, "What? Who are these?" You had a car thing back then too.
I mean, I grew up.
So what is Krakow? Give us a little bit.
So, I mean, my grandfather started this. It started with this is 1954. Rewind. Compton, California, 1954. So,
which is where my grandfather had his factory too. Go ahead.
Crazy. Yeah. So it started with white walls for tires, like back in the day. It's like
it was like a Snap-on, right?
Snap-on white walls. That's awesome. Right? So it just kind of evolved, and then it got into rubber production. He started making rubber floor mats for cars, built presses, and then started doing the rubber, and then it got into carpet, and then like it just kind of evolved into everything that accessories for the car, interior of the car. Then it got into electronics, and like back in the 60s, 70s, like during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the car stereos and the cars are kind of like crap and like whatever. So you can go to like, I don't know, like a Walmart or whatever, and buy a Krakow car stereo or Pep Boys or whatever.
You always see the Pep Boys. Do you remember you go to Pep Boys and had like the wall of stereos?
All the stereos. I had one that you pulled out.
Yeah, you could push the buttons and like different speakers would come on. Yeah.
So we were all about like, mass market, like, volume, like low price stuff, like just shit that will just, fly off the shelves.
Right, yeah.
And it did.
Yeah.
And it just was cranking and cranking. And then it just got built up.
Right.
And then one day my grandfather's like, I want to own a race car team. Like all of a sudden we had a race car team.
Wow.
And like this was like late 70s, early 80s. And then like really got into it. And then, that was just like my grandfather's focus, and then gave the business to my dad to run the business side.
Yep.
And then my grandfather focused on the racing side of things.
Yep.
And
he built it up enough to focus on the thing he loved.
But to win an Indianapolis 500, I mean...
But that took like 12 years. Yeah. But we won championships. Yep. I mean, like, we crushed. Like, it was, you take things for granted. I'm like, we have, pictures on the walls and like my family garage. I mean, we have an IndyCar sitting there that, that my dad gave me. It's just like a show car, but whatever. It's
that's
just
awesome.
Like, my dad was going to get rid of it when we sold our business in 2008. And, I'm like, don't get rid of that. Like, that's like, no.
Yeah.
So like, give it to me.
Family history. Yeah.
Family. I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll even put that on my wall somewhere. Like, we'll figure it out, but whatever.
Your dad took the business over from your grandfather?
Well, it was just like my grandfather wanted to focus on the racing side, and then my dad was focusing more on the business side. And, it just kind of on Sundays when we went to go race, like we all kind of came together. But like, my grandfather ran that team. Like, it was awesome. Like picking drivers, and, my grandfather was just so into engineering and like, just different generation, like, war pilot, like flew in Korea. Like, I mean, he was hardcore.
What year did your grandfather pass away? So he saw them win the Indianapolis 500. That's awesome.
We're all, That's awesome. I mean, it was, I mean, we wished it was, because we had a partner in that, on that team. So it wasn't the yellow and blue Krakow, like, colors, but hey, same color as cash is green. And like it was.
Did you work for Krakow?
Yeah, I worked. I emptied containers that like, my dad's like,
go to work
and, empty these. I mean, it was awful. I was like, I thought it was like,
it's awful, but it's great.
Yeah.
No, it was great. Like, I'm like, I'm being humble. Like, like, so, my parents, like, or my dad specifically, like, gave me a work ethic and like, just like, no, you're going to do some labor. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and I did it.
Yeah.
And, it was a real pain in the ass, but I did it. And I'm like, I felt good after the day, but it was sweat. I mean, emptying containers coming in from China. I mean, like it was 1,000 degrees in this. I'm sweat. I mean, it was awful, but awesome. But honestly, at the end of the day, I look back and I'm like, I'm glad he did it.
Yeah.
And I worked my way up.
Yep.
I worked my way up, and I went into like from emptying containers to start picking things out, and then got into the business side, and then I started doing import operations for my dad. I moved to Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know
I
that.
lived there.
Yeah.
How long were you in Hong Kong?
Not long. It was like 6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
But I did a buying trip with my dad. And we traveled all through China. And then we got to Hong Kong. Hong Kong was our last stop. And I'm like, oh my God, this place is unbelievable.
Yeah. What year was that?
This was 2004.
Okay.
So
okay, well, hold on one second.
right?
I think it was 2005. My
Yep.
grandfather passed away in 2006. So it was around there.
Yep.
I'm like, Dad, I got to live here. Like, this place is calling me. He
Yeah.
goes, what? He goes, you're out of your mind. Like, no way. And I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. And he's like, okay. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So I went there. I didn't know anybody.
That must have felt good though. In a weird
no,
way.
it was weird. But
Was
like,
it?
I was like, this kid has some balls. Like, like I'm going to a foreign country. I don't know anybody. We have an office there.
Yep.
We have like, whatever.
Yep.
But like I worked and traveled all throughout China. And I just met a whole bunch of people.
But
It
Hong
was
Kong's
so-
awesome. I mean,
I don't know how it is today.
Yeah.
But back then, it was just like, oh my God.
I haven't been there in 40 years. I went with my parents on a trip to China, Japan, and Hong Kong when I was 10, 11 years old.
Oh, nice.
But I remember on that whole trip, when I got to Hong Kong, I was like blown away. I'm like, this is the coolest place.
It's so
Really?
cool.
And that's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So this was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I know. Don't say it out loud. It went by real quick.
I mean, I didn't go away to college. So I'm like, I felt like this was like my time to like spread my wings, but also can work. And, it was just.
Did you do any college? Or
I did.
like
and
me?
I did.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But I got my degree in business, whatever. It made my mom happy. And,
So what are you doing like now?
Well, selling real estate in LA,
Yeah.
which is like, it's interesting right now. It's not the best environment.
Yeah.
Very challenging.
It's funny because
We have an inventory
now
problem.
I'm thinking about it. So LA real estate is also now taking on this big reality TV show
big
thing.
time.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mauricio Umansky, the whole, what is it, Selling the Sunset, the Oppenheim Group.
So that whole thing is scripted, but like it's all kind of sort of scripted.
What I'm gonna
$1 million listings, the other one, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Which is the one with the young kids, Josh Flagg.
That's $1 million.
So my grandmother's house ended up on there because he
wow.
represented the buyer after my grandmother
Flagg
died.
did?
Yeah. But it's funny to hear his grandmother, who I don't know,
Edith.
talk about my grandmother, who apparently she did know, which is just funny.
Edith is a freaking icon.
I have the episode, but it's interesting.
Do you know that was the one thing that I never could quite grasp my head around, is that people in Beverly Hills would get vacation homes in Malibu. And to me, Malibu was so close. Like, why would you even bother getting a vacation?
Well, I think, my dad, who can't really travel anymore, this is his way of traveling. He can be together with his family.
Yeah.
We used to go on family trips.
Yeah.
We take 3 trips a year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who does that these days?
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it.
I don't even want to get on a plane.
I mean, planes are falling out of the sky. You got the windows are coming off.
with the kind of the landscape of like this whole reality TV thing taking over the LA kind of real estate scene. I mean, not that there's not realtors that aren't on TV. Do you feel that helps or hinders or plays into your what you're
no
doing
one's
at
ever
all?
called me to be on a show, so
Okay.
But because your name is recognizable, do people ever do that?
It is, but
it's niche.
It's niche. Like I think they have their group. I mean, Selling Sunset is totally scripted deal with the girls.
Yep.
So
But
they
I mean, just for
they
like-
have their brand. Like it's.
But for your, like, forget the reality aspect of it. For being in LA, having the recognition just from your name or like being the meme, does it help at all? Does it really, like, I mean, honestly, could you put a thing on Billboard going, hey, it's me, Todd Kraines, your local real estate agent?
I think I could.
That would actually be fucking brilliant.
It would. And people kept on telling me, I was like, but I was scared. Like, so there's a psychology behind it. Like, there's fear. And like, I mean, I still suffer from that even today. Like, it's just like, do I really want to be that exposed? Even though I already was.
Do you feel
it's weird? It's like a.
Do you feel like you're maybe running a risk of being taken less serious if you go down that road a little bit?
No, because I'm serious now.
Yeah.
And, it's ever since COVID, things are just weird.
Yep.
It's just, we're in a weird space.
A lot of people that we know and we grew up with, you must run into them in that circle a little bit.
No, yeah. I mean, I see a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, But I also get the perception is, does Todd really need to work?
Yeah, everybody gets. I mean, you know what the funny thing is?
Do you?
Who doesn't want to make money? Who doesn't want to why don't people want to support each other and but they look at me like
he's fine.
I got millions of dollars in the bank. Me personally,
right? Well, that's yours. Yes,
but
you appreciate that the wealth that your family has is still
listen.
adjacent.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna be okay.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
However, this is another thing. So good segue. I was promised a listing through a friend, and I saw it come up on the market. I'm like, what the fuck? And I called them out. I'm like, what happened? Well, she needed the money. She has 2 kids, this and that, and all this, more than you and I need. And I was like, what a shitty assumption. Why? How do you know what my situation is?
That's it.
It's assumed because
it's assumed. So that is my handicap. How crazy is that?
No, I believe it. I know it, and I've suffered from it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It pisses me off.
People, you don't listen.
Yeah.
You have unless you're looking at their bank account, you have no idea what anybody
has.
has.
For them to make that assumption, and I was like,
just because
kind of deep down, I was like, fuck you.
Yeah,
right,
just because your family or your parents have something doesn't mean you have it.
Right.
So,
no.
Yeah.
I think, but that is why I wanted to stay down that track, is because I do think that is something that is a misnomer. It's like, yes, you're right. You are going to be okay. You are going to be okay. That you will be taken care of. Life is going to actually be okay. But for your own personal, success and fulfillment.
I want to feel good about myself every day. I don't need someone else to make me feel good. I could do that by myself, but it would be kind of nice not to have this
And I think that is kind of the this sounds even so fucked up to even say burden, privilege in the same sentence, but there is the burden of being privileged when you don't feel confident in your own doings because somebody's already put you in a box.
I'm in that box.
Yep, you are.
I
got it.
You are
sealed with a nice, beautiful bow. But you want to know something? I own it. It is what it is. And
I have a very good friend of mine who's in that same box with you, and he loves to say, "My dad's rich."
Right, right. There is that idea behind, I remember being around certain people and I just was like, well, this kid totally knows that he's fine. So there was that thing that was different from me coming from an LA-based education system where I was a privileged kid in those circles to going to ultra privileged. And by being privileged, I mean, I had my own room. Do you know what I mean? And then going into Beverly Hills where I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Jennifer Dower has a ballroom in her house. I mean, mind blown. And an arcade. I remember rumors, whether they were true or not, Todd Kraines has a tanning salon in his house. And I'm like, wait, what?
Do you have a tanning salon in your house?
Well, there's a reason why. So they were...
I love it.
So I love you so much
this tanning... No, they were a sponsor for one of the race cars. So we got free...
So
well, not free. We had a gym and there was...
Look at his glow. I mean,
this is natural. And I'm part Italian too. So I almost want to leave LA and go somewhere that no one knows me. And, well, I don't know if that's...
I can't hard now.
I can't go to Aspen.
No, I can't go here and I can't go. But seriously, it's I almost want to get out of this bubble.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
but you're the kind of guy, no matter where you move, in 6 months, everybody's gonna know you.
And eventually they're gonna know he has an Indy car.
And that he was on the Kardashians.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I can escape it. So I'm really I'm screw it. It is what it is.
It's a good attitude.
It is.
What am I going to go into this dark place?
You didn't choose. This is the existence that
these are the cards that were
the
dealt.
loins you sprung from.
These are the cards.
I love it.
Got to play the cards that are dealt.
Oh my God. Honestly, it just makes me so happy to see you do look extremely handsome. I must tell you.
I love it.
So you do. I know. My first little El Rodeo crush for 5 minutes.
I'm always the first of something, and then I'm single and never been married.
Let's hit that. How's that?
Dating
life. Do you want to be married? Did you see that for yourself?
Well, I was engaged once.
Okay.
Well, once. This should be enough, but I did.
Most people try. They aspire to only be engaged.
So I was engaged, and amazing experience.
Why is this so funny?
Amazing experience.
It was enough. It was no. I'm not gonna badmouth, but it was an experience. I grew a lot, and I'm glad I'm not married.
Yeah.
Is that okay to say?
It is, absolutely, especially
nothing against her, but like it was.
So
not meant to
what's
be.
the social life looking like these days?
I went on a date last Friday.
Okay, where are we meeting? Where are we? Hold on. Yeah, where are we meeting these girls? Are we meeting them on the apps?
Yeah, like I don't like to go out too much, so it's just easier for me to just like
do the app.
And I do pretty well.
Yeah, sure. You're a good looking guy.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Have you gone into the circles where you've everyone already? You're like, oh, I already went.
No, hold on a second. Are we on like the higher end apps?
I'm not going to say which one.
Okay.
But it's fine. That does the job.
I mean, is this one for regular people or is this one for people who've been like on the Kardashians?
Probably the latter.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I'm not on Tinder or any of that shit.
No.
Like
there's a couple levels.
Like
There's a couple levels. I mean, is this one where you have to be like okay to get on it?
I got the Empire Pass. If that makes sense.
I like it.
Does anybody know about that? Probably not.
No,
but
they do now.
You got to accept. You have to be accepted. It's one of these.
Yes, you got to be accepted.
Okay, I like.
So I'm accepted.
I like it.
Finally,
I'm in an accepted place.
I love it. We got the blue check mark.
It makes me feel good about myself every day. Like I'm like, yeah,
that's I
got a blue check mark on my Instagram. I didn't have to pay for my blue check mark on Instagram.
I love it.
I mean, like, yeah,
that's
really,
You're winning.
I got clout. I'm killing it.
That's it.
I fucking love it.
Oh my god. So like, I do well on that, and like I had an ex-girlfriend. I met her on that, and we just recently broke up in like the last handful of months, and then I just went on a date like last week from it. I had a great time. Like, just like you got to shoot your shot.
Where are we going on our date?
Went to dinner.
Okay.
I'm not going to say. We had such good rapport.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to take you to dinner. Like, I felt like I'll invest in that because like, you're actually like, this is interesting to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Versus someone that I don't really know too well. I'll probably just go and have a drink.
Mm-hmm.
But like the fact that we were talking and like, we even talked on the phone. Who does that?
Yeah, I like it.
I know. What's that like?
But I pick up the phone and I call these people.
Yeah,
I'm just like, like but it's weird for some of these girls. Like,
well, wait, hold on. How old are you dating?
Let's get into that. That's a great question.
What level? Because I know how old you are and how old I am.
Are
you dating women from the class of 94?
And you guys are only a couple years younger than me.
So if I want to have children,
that's a great response.
That is such a good
I have to date someone that can bear children.
Do you want to have children is the better question.
If I want children, I have to put my time into somebody that can do that.
And we have to account, hold on. We have to account for the courtship, the marriage.
Yeah.
So he's dating
like a good
24 years old.
So my ex-girlfriend was 24 years old.
I love it.
But just a little too young.
What did you talk about?
It was very hard.
I'm going to get a little misogynistic for you here. But, listen, you talked about the Indy cars. You talked about Hillcrest. You talked about the bar mitzvah, where you grew up. None of that did anything. 24-year-old, huh?
She came into my life at the most perfect.
God, I wish my boobs were still 24.
Oh, my God.
A few other things.
I was so blessed to have her come into my life when she did, because this was just right after.
Yeah, you were.
It was like.
Sorry. Listen.
I'm trying to give her accolades.
Yes.
She is a beautiful girl.
Oh my God.
No.
Sure
She came at a very interesting time in my life.
Do you have to brush up on what is going on TikTok?
Do you basically watch TikTok for 40 hours?
I have to tell you, I do get on TikTok quite a bit. And I'm learning this new language, and I'm like,
bruh.
That's my son calls me bruh.
I can't do that.
I can't do that either.
But I'm watching.
Did she tell you had Riz?
I have Riz.
She didn't talk like that.
Okay.
This was a girl that was just came from Texas. She was just a cool girl.
Yeah.
She was just quiet and just did her thing. And she came at a point in my life where it was perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone, I don't know if everyone lasts forever, but
was this the engagement or?
No, this was after. Because of, age.
Yeah.
I needed to date someone a little bit older. Someone I can play tennis with.
Somebody who remembered before Facebook. Just slightly.
No, it ran its course.
Sure.
And she's a lovely girl.
Someone was alive during 9/11.
Pretty much. Or very close. Or just born.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. No.
Oh, it is. Look, you're raising.
Daughter's 20. In about a couple years, she's going to be.
Wait, this girl that went out the front, she's 29. So I was like, you know what? And she, who knows? But like we could talk. Like I was just so fascinated. I was like, oh my God, like really like talk.
You read a book. Like,
no, smart girl. Like I'm just like, oh cool. Like whatever.
So maybe date number 2?
I don't know.
Okay.
I take things one step at a time. Yeah. Like, and even if it was just for that one date, I look at things as experiences.
Yeah, me too.
And like, you know what? If that's that, and who knows? It's just the dating world is whoa.
Yeah.
Like it's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't hope. Like it's just. If I get married, I get married. If I have kids, I have kids. If I don't, I don't.
I'm going to tell you one thing.
And I'm good.
Yeah, that's good.
But it would be kind of cool to have a little TK.
It would, yes.
I think that's the thing. Like, yes, but don't do that selfishly because it's a whole next level.
Selfishly, I'm going to be 48. Like, I'm not being selfish.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be a good dad, and you probably will at some point.
You know what? If it's meant to be, it will be.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, I was even talking to my mom about it. I was like, God, like, I don't know. Like, things are
going on a little?
No.
Okay.
Because I'm very like, you know, I'm like,
they don't want a 24-year-old daughter.
No, my mom loves her. My mom loves her.
Whoever this lovely girl is, please know we're just taking the piss.
No, she was very well loved, and you know,
but they're not giving, your parents don't give any.
No, I mean, my dad, you know, they're just like, it is what it is. My dad kind of like chills in his room, and like every time I bring a girl over, he's like, gets up.
Yeah.
He actually shaves.
Yeah, I like it.
He's like, I love Todd when he's single. He brings all these girls by.
I love it.
Oh my God. Especially during like Stagecoach and Coachella season. It is game on.
Oh yeah.
He can't wait for that to come. That's coming pretty soon.
Real soon.
Oh, Jesus. You guys, God bless you for still enjoying those things. I'm
done with the Coachella, but I love Stagecoach.
That's
my vibe.
That's what's happened. It's gone from Coachella to all the old folks go to
Stagecoach is awesome.
Speak for yourself.
I know, right? Exactly.
Stagecoach is where it's
I'm way more like, what's the dark one out in the Rose Bowl where like all the goth bands are playing?
What's that called? I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's the
Robert Glasper, who's one of my favorites, he does the Blue Note Jazz Festival in Napa. That's another one.
Fun.
See, Coachella scares me now.
Coachella's fun.
It's
Cool
fun.
World is
it's fun for you guys.
Coachella was fun like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
20.
It's changed. I'm kind of over it, but I'll still be there.
These lineups, like, I mean, even this year's lineup.
The music is different. It's way different.
How do people do? Well, I know why they do it. Like, they're the kids. I mean, like,
it's different. You know, the thing is, Coachella has changed. Like when we're talking about the phones and stuff, Coachella was in '99. Coachella started. It was about the music, you know, and now it's about taking the picture and
it's an
the right
Instagram moment.
It's an influencer.
Yeah. Did you get into these parties? Like the first time, I actually have pictures from the first Coachella I went to, which was when I first started dating my husband in 2003. It was not the first Coachella I went to. The first one I went to
99 was the
2000.
first one.
Yeah. And then they took a year off.
Right.
So I went in 2002 and 2003. In 2003, I for free got VIP 10 people VIP passes and tickets. VIP, you did not have to pay money to spend on booze. You just got hammered. PlayStation sponsored it. It was a desert. Like nobody, like you could see the wide open space. There was no art, like huge art installations like there is now. There was some of them because Phil Blaine did them, but they weren't. I lost my ticket. I go to Will, and there was no fences. It was just kind of like you waved your way through. I lost my ticket. I went to Will Call. I knew the guy at Will Call. He's like, "Oh, how many do you need?" Now, like the fact that that's where, and I had at one point I was such a desert rat. It was hot. I had a bikini top on.
I got that now too.
But see, it's different. I was wearing. I looked like a desert rat, you know. And now it's like I see girls walking on those fields in these giant like boots to their with like stilettos.
I know,
I'm
isn't it magical?
Why is so, Todd, I actually do have a lot of single friends, none of which I would hook you guys
too
up to.
old for him.
No, they're totally too old for him. But my point is, I like being the friend to single people, so I will go with you anywhere you need.
Jess, I think he's doing okay.
I clean up really well.
I think he's doing all right.
No, but sometimes you need to converse and you need a wingman. He's doing fine. But I'm a good time.
He's doing all right.
I mean, like, listen, I'm not like, you know, every week going out with a girl. Like, I like to have my Todd time.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean,
the best.
I do.
You now know that's going to be a goddamn meme.
Todd time.
I like it.
Todd time's great. I lay on the backyard. I get tan.
I have a picture.
That's a thing now.
I gotta show you.
Last week, I was just fucking free flowing.
I love it.
Did a little skinny dip in the pool. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's around.
No, it's great.
And
Your
if they
parents are
are-
watching from the Palm Springs on the video camera.
They're out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just doing my thing. And if they're watching, they're watching.
I love it.
It's okay.
They were there when
I'm
you're
very
born.
proud
They
of
know
what
what
I
it
got
was.
going on.
Have you ever dated anybody, not a Kardashian? Have you ever dated like a celebrity?
I've been out on dates with celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd those go? Or what's that like? I know you don't
I
really
went out
say
with
who.
a very popular singer.
Okay.
Actually, this was a while ago,
Okay.
like maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Can you say who it is? No. Okay. Don't say. We'll just guess. Keep going.
And so we matched up on an
On an app.
One of the membership
One of the
apps.
accepted apps.
So
I love
those
it.
of apps.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and we just started talking. She's like, she goes, do you want to come downtown to meet me? I'm like, downtown to meet you? She goes, yeah, I'm doing a music video right now. And I'm like, fuck it. Yeah. She goes, are you really going to come? I'm like, yeah, I am not shy.
I love it. I love it.
I went there and it is a full production.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she's a
Big one.
Big one.
Okay.
she did a, yeah. So I go down there, we meet, and she's just like, I can't believe you're here. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what's up? Like, I'm meeting everybody. One of the makeup artists did Kim.
By the way, real quick, people in Middle America can't believe that there's like this secret dating app that like celebrities are on, but there is.
There is.
I think people know what it is.
They know, yeah.
But
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
going to mention
Yeah.
any names.
Yeah.
'Cause It's
PR,
tacky.
they don't need it.
Yeah,
It's a little
Go
tacky.
ahead,
So anyways, we met up, like we started talking, like, and I'm watching her like do a music video.
Yep.
I'm like, I feel like I'm in this movie of like A Star Is Born or
Right.
some shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this really happening? So like, whatever, we dated for a little bit. Nothing really came of it. We started talking about some other subjects and it just wasn't the right alignment for each other. But like, yeah, like it was, but I'll tell you after.
Yeah, I'm dying.
She has some hits.
But like, I know because Dan hung out with every child actor in Hollywood. Did you also?
I'm trying to think who else I went.
Not every
This
child
is the
actor, but most of them.
Most of,
Yeah.
I would say anyone that actually made any money.
Thanks. That's a compliment, actually.
Okay, stealing cars. Let's talk about cars. Let's get back to cars because I crashed a car. I stole my mom's car and crashed it.
I've done that 3 times.
Why I know that?
I
was-
PTSD.
What are you
I'm
gonna do
talking
with
about
this? I
it.
got one
I'm trying to
other
get
one.
out of the
Yeah.
driveway. I crashed into the Mercedes.
No way.
Oh, dude.
What car were you stealing?
No, I was so nervous taking it out, but I would take it out and I crashed it into the station wagon right in back. But I would go. I would still take it. And I left, and my mom's yelling at me on the phone, going, "Where the hell are you?" Like, would go off on me. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. Like, I mean,
The older kids told me to do it.
no, I would just do it. I had balls of steel. Like, I would just do it.
But
why? I don't know why. Like, I like getting my ass kicked, I guess.
Wait.
Todd, who you're talking about his bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
The only time I ever went to a white party was Todd's white party.
Oh, God, that was epic.
Yeah,
I
at
had
your
my
house.
35th.
Yeah.
I had a white party.
Yeah.
And I showed up an hour late because I just was like that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to show up an hour late.
It was
to
a
my
great party.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
So who was there? The
Oh my God,
Kardashians.
no. But Ice-T's son was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's he
And a lot of
doing?
people hadn't
I
seen
don't
since high school.
I don't talk to him anymore, but like he was there. Like I was part of this like whole like bull run crew. Like I raced cars across country. I forgot about that.
That's
I'm like,
how it was
my
a
God.
bull
Oh
run.
my
Oh my God. That's how it was a bull
what
run.
the fuck?
Here
Yeah.
we
That's
go.
a huge deal.
So for
Okay.
people who don't know, there's a real cannonball. Like, so there was a movie, The Cannonball
Yeah.
Run, and it was based on this thing, the Bull Run, where people actually are racing cars. People like Todd Kraines who don't give a shit about getting a ticket and are racing cars from one coast to the next.
Yeah.
And just doing it. Tell us about it. What were you driving?
We had a C63 Mercedes
Okay.
AMG, but it was like 500 plus horsepower. Like this thing was like a beast.
And
we raced it from where were we? New York.
Yep.
Started in New York. And funny enough, Kim Kardashian, she was
Thank you.
she was because
No, I appreciate it. We
No, we
sometimes
do.
no,
we
she
don't
was
do
like
that.
she was like the girl that started us all off. And it was
Right.
like so weird. Like
what year is this?
2012, I believe.
Okay.
Or like right around there.
Right. And what year was it that she kind of popped, Kim?
About
She
that.
was
Yeah.
that was like,
Yeah.
she was doing stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
But like she was doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like it was
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
So we would take off. We went from New York to Vegas and we actually won it.
No way.
Yeah. We went.
Did you sleep? Did you just go straight through?
No, it was terrifying. Like it was but I've hang glided in Brazil. Like I did some crazy shit, but that was like,
but you just go and you get
like, I mean, no, like,
did you get pulled over?
Yeah. Like,
how many times?
Gun, like, like it was nuts. Like,
how do you not get arrested?
We went through. We just because they know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we would go through Amish and like we were going through. I mean, it was. I saw things. I mean, I went cross country like 3 times, but like this one was New York to Vegas, and we would go through. We went to Chicago, through Nebraska, like all these open roads where we can just like
gun it. Yeah,
and I mean, it was
And it's a team, a couple people in the car with you?
Yeah, there's a couple people. Like I was, spotter and then navigator, and driver.
Yeah,
and like
and you guys take turns to shift.
Yeah. And, it was just
spotters for the police.
Yeah. I was on the binoculars sometimes.
Did
just
you
like
have
looking
your
out.
scanners and all that?
Scanners, but like sometimes that's not good enough. Like you really have to look out.
Yeah.
There was this one time this was another bull run. I had food poisoning.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And we were leaving from Orlando to go down to Miami. This was the craziest story ever. Yeah. And I was not feeling good. And I told the driver, I was like, which I will not name, but I was like, if you don't let me out of this car, I'm going to blow this shit up. Literally. And I literally, he's like, he kicked me out of the car on I-95, like in the middle of the Glades in Florida.
Crazy.
And I'm not thinking this. I'm like, did my business, but like.
Now what?
No.
Killed an alligator.
I didn't. Yes. I'm like, oh my God, I could have gotten killed.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about alligators. I was thinking about one thing and one thing only.
Oh, yeah. Did you get left or did you?
Yes. So I'm like, you have to tell people I'm on the road. Right. Like, so some trailer car come and picked me up and took me down to Miami. Awesome. But like, holy shit, literally. Like
that's amazing.
So we ended up coming in second, and then like at one of the celebratory dinners or the celebratory dinner, they gave me a prize with a toilet with toilet paper on the trophy.
I love it.
Oh my God, because I didn't have toilet. It was awful.
I love it.
It was really bad.
You didn't take a dip.
I mean,
did you take a dip?
No, I was in there. I was like, oh my, and I'm thinking after, I'm like, what am I thinking?
Yeah,
like I could have gotten attacked by an alligator.
I don't want to get gross. You don't have to give us full details, but you got in the fucking Everglades.
What was I supposed to do?
And there's big snakes in there too, giant snakes.
I mean, like, can you imagine?
Something could have literally traveled.
I swear,
up your urethra.
I have angels. Someone's looking out for me because there's so many times where I should have been. It should have gone this way, and it didn't. Thank God.
Listen, I'm still amazed that I'm the one that's married and has a kid, and I've made it through adulthood halfway. Like it's still amazing.
Wow. But yeah,
love it.
We went from Laughlin to Vegas. I'll never forget this. We were in Reno to Vegas. We made it in 20 minutes. I mean, like that is not normal. It was like 180 down pedal. Yep. Like, it was scary.
Yeah, you could die if something happened.
I mean, I wouldn't do that today, but like.
Oh,
but what an amazing
the power
experience.
of adrenaline and youth.
Oh, what an amazing experience.
That is an amazing.
It was crazy. I did it 3 times.
Wow.
It was like, we're doing it this summer. We're doing it this summer. Like, I did it like 3. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
I love it.
Good times. I love that. Well, are you still collecting cars or driving fancy fun ones?
I have my little toy out there, but like.
No, not as much.
I have some priorities I want to do before the toys.
Yes. Well, do you have any projects you're working on aside from real estate?
Well, come to think of it, like, no, but like there's some like things some side projects that I'm trying to like work on and stuff like that.
I can see Todd being a movie producer.
That's what
I
literally
would be canceled in 2 seconds.
No, you would.
He would. Well, no, they all stick together. But anyway.
What does that mean?
No, it's like the island. Every once in a while, they got to cut somebody, throw somebody in the sharks.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you have money, they don't care.
I did this. I did this EP thing. That was like little like a short movie. Like it was fun. Like it was like a nice little project, but like it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Most of them don't. FYI.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, why the fuck am I going to put money into these like little projects? Although I do like your little.
Yes.
Things. Can I mention that name?
Yeah.
Sure.
Ballistics.
Yeah.
Ballistics documentary. You should.
Showed me a little teaser.
I need to see a little teaser.
It was pretty damn cool.
I did. I saw a teaser, but Anyway, you are fantastic. I'm so glad we reconnected.
Todd,
you are.
I can't thank you enough, man. I love you for doing this.
You're so funny. You're so real. And the reality is, it isn't a weird place to grow up, and people can be assholes. And even if you're handsome,
I had a silver spoon, and it sometimes it's not so silver.
That's it. That's it. I mean, and that's the truth.
Sometimes it's just plated.
It's a little rusty. It doesn't feel so good.
Yeah. But you are a genuine person. You always
Thanks for
really have
having
been,
me.
and
Oh,
I
man, we love
appreciate
you.
it.
We
and
love you.
we do.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm going to see you in the desert. Yeah.
I'm going to like hitch a ride with you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely, if there's any places people can find you or like, whatever.
Go to the gram, T Kraines.
Yeah. I love it.
It's me, Todd
Send me,
Kraines.
Is that your handle? That should be your handle.
T Kraines.
T Kraines. No, but not it's me, Todd Kraines.
No.
Oh.
Fuck, take that. Take it.
I'd run with. I'm getting a shirt, bro.
I am going to make a shirt.
I think I got so
Monetize
numb to
it.
that whole thing. I just wanted nothing to do with
We
it.
should
Like,
start a
fuck,
shirt
man.
company.
I don't know.
What if this is where you build your empire?
I don't think I would do it without that. Like, it doesn't
I
make
know.
sense. Like, I wanted to do a men's skincare thing.
It's Todd time.
Like, it's Todd time.
I like
You're
it.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna call her and be like, "Hey,
time.
I think it's time. I think it's Todd's time. You guys I think you guys are capped. Like, you got your money.
Yeah.
You're good.
It's
You
Todd
know,
time.
Generational
I think
wealth.
it's Todd time.
Yeah.
I want what's owed.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of 90who10. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends and your family. Follow us on Instagram at 90who10. You can also find us online, 90who10.com. And we are streaming on YouTube
Every
and
platform
Spotify,
where you
every
can find
platform.
us. Yeah.
Just go wherever you prefer. Thanks again. Peace out.
Thank you.